Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marisa and today I'm going to share with you a really simple fireplace hack to give your flat wall fireplace some depth and dimension and make it look like it's mwah. If you're new here, I am currently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm filming in a gorgeous outdoor rooftop space in this condo that we're staying in. My husband and my kids, we have quit our jobs, sold our home, and we have packed everything we own into a storage unit. And we're currently kind of traveling abroad and waiting to see what the next season of life is going to have for us. In the meantime, I have a whole bunch of videos coming for you, both to share with you our journey as we are traveling and figuring out what life has for us, but also during this stage leading up to this season, I was filming a lot of design content, finishing up design projects and working on a bunch of fun things. So I'm on the other side of the world, but I'm still bringing you a video all about interior design. And this one is a great one. Do me a favor, if you have a fireplace, take a peek at it. Is it flat, flush against a wall? And what I mean by that is, does your fireplace have like a bump out that gives it real depth and dimension and it has its presence in the room? Or when you kind of step back and look at it, is it just in line with the drywall of that room and it's just on a flat surface? This can look really great in really modern, sleek, streamlined type situations. It could look really elegant, could look formal even in certain cases. But for many of us who don't have an ultra modern or real sleek aesthetic, having a flat fireplace kind of makes the room feel bland. It doesn't give any presence. It doesn't give as much presence as it could. And it kind of is lacking a little bit because the depth isn't there. Well, I'm gonna share with you a hack today that you could do around your current flat fireplace to give it the depth and dimension that it wants so that it has a beautiful presence in the room. And I'm going to share with you this fireplace as an example. This is a kitchen remodel that we just finished before we moved away, and we had this fireplace here in this room already. All we did to change this fireplace was we elevated it a little bit further off the ground than it originally was. This is so that you could still see the fireplace while you're sitting at the table. Can you imagine sitting at the table and the fireplace was still down at the ground? Kind of be a pointless waste of space. So we elevated it up, made it really visible from anywhere in the kitchen and dining space, but it was still just flat against the wall. We wanted it to feel like it fit in with this farmhouse kitchen really seamlessly. And one of the ways you can do that is by getting 3 materials. The first one is inexpensive trim or molding pieces. You can go to your local hardware store and find the ones that really speak to you. Try to get ones that have a little bit of depth to them. Maybe they have some of the molding sticks out a little bit further in some places. Maybe there's some curves in it, but try to get a piece of molding that has a little bit of depth because that's gonna help create this illusion of a fireplace with dimension. The second thing you're gonna need is some thin brick. You could go to a brick retailer and you could find most of the bricks that they sell in a really thin version. These are applied with traditional mortar and they're applied like a brick. They look truly fantastic because they are a brick, they're not a faux brick. But because they're so thin, they don't take up a lot of space on the wall, which is perfect for this kind of application. The final thing you're gonna wanna get is some sort of a mantle. Now, you could in addition get a corbel. You don't have to, depends on kind of how sleek you want it to be or what kind of style or aesthetic you're going for. This fireplace is definitely a little bit more traditional, it's more farmhouse. The feeling of the whole space is more of this farmhouse vibe. So we wanted to make sure that we added in enough items to give this fireplace the presence it needed to match the decor in the home. So we not only added a mantle, but in this case we also added a corbel. That could totally be omitted if that's not really your style. Now, this homeowner that had this fireplace was so amazing. She actually drew this design. She sketched it out and she said, can you guys create the look of this? And the contractor and I took a peek at it. We just made a couple of modifications with kind of the depth of some of the molding pieces, some of the trim we used. And we actually copied her design almost the exact same way that she drew it. You can see that we added bricks right around the fireplace. We did this from the ground right up to the bottom of the fireplace, and then we kind of stepped back and we looked at the proportion of the wall and how much space did we want this fireplace to take up in the room. And based on that, we determined the width of bricks we wanted to put on either side of the fireplace. We didn't want them to look like little columns of bricks. just going up either side. So we made them a little more substantial. That's the first element that's gonna give some texture. It's gonna give your eye this illusion like it's a brick fireplace, when really it's just a little sliver of a brick. And then on the outside edges, we added some molding and some trim just to give it a little bit of dimension. The dimension that those pieces add really is what gives the illusion of depth. You would not walk into this room and think right away, it's a flat fireplace on a wall. We've done a really great job of creating an illusion of a nice substantial fireplace when really the whole thing sticks out from the wall, just such a small amount. One of the reasons that we didn't want to put a bump out in this space is because we wanted to leave as much room around the dining table as possible. So had we done a bump out for the fireplace to really give it the presence that it could have had, it would have just taken too much floor space out of the room. So this is a really great alternative if you're running short on space but still want it to feel a little more substantial and have a really great presence in the room. Now, like I said, we lifted this fireplace up off of the ground to try to make it as high as we could while still fitting in the confines of the exterior wall bump out. So if you were to go on the outside of this home, you would see the bricks on the outside of this home stick out. There's a bump out on the exterior. That's to house the fireplace. Well, within that already created space, we were able to lift the fireplace up as much as we could. That's as high as we lifted. We didn't have to do any exterior brickwork. We just worked within the space that we had. So the amount of space from the floor to the bottom of the new location of the fireplace is approximately 24 inches. I don't quite remember, and I'm on the other side of the world, so I can't measure. But that was really what gave us the visual for how much brick do we want to bring up on the sides. We wanted it to feel balanced. We wanted it to feel like it all kind of flowed really nicely. The height of the brick at the bottom of the fireplace is really closely matched with the width of the brick at either side. They're not exact, but they're really similar. And that just creates a really lovely, symmetrical, it feels like it really flows well. So one of the beautiful features in this space is these gorgeous ceiling beams that the contractor installed for us. And so what I had requested was the exact same treatment for this mantle. But instead of following the same dimensions of the beams on the ceiling, we made it a little bit deeper so that we could put some items up on the mantle and make it just feel like it's got depth to it. One of the other reasons we wanted to elevate the fireplace up off the ground was so that when we did get around to getting the mantle up, it would be really high in the room. This room has really high ceilings. So if we would have had a lower mantle, it would have given all of this space between the mantle and the ceiling, and I didn't want that kind of aesthetic. So we had the fireplace lifted, and then we put the mantle a little bit higher really than the top of the fireplace. And when you stand next to it, like, it's significantly high. It's like when I stand next to it, it's right up above my head. The entire thing feels like it's this beautiful fireplace situation, when really, you guys, it's like just this sticks this far out from the wall other than the mantle. So with a few key items, the bricks, some really great molding pieces, a great mantle, and if you want some corbels, you can really create the look of depth and dimension in a fireplace when really it's just on a flat wall. Take a peek at your fireplace in your room and see if there's a way that you could use any of these treatments to kind of give a little bit more presence to your pre-existing fireplace. It's inexpensive, it's pretty simple to do, and it makes a really big impact on your space. Whew, I'm sweating. It's very warm here in Kuala Lumpur. If you are interested in following our family's journey, you can subscribe to this channel. In addition to a weekly design video, we are now vlogging what's going on with our lives and showing you where we are in the world. We would love for you to subscribe and be a part of this growing community here at I Am Loved. So what do you think? Is this the kind of fireplace hack you would use in your home? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time here at I Am Loved.